I just wonder how bad your handwriting has to be to not be able to read Spencer. It did strike me that when he said these people know dental equipment really well, I thought to myself, wow, I kind of know dental equipment really well, but from a completely different perspective. And it's hard sometimes when you're sitting in that dental chair, especially when you're a person of a certain age and like I'm on my third round of the same fillings. And I just wondered to myself, it's like, was there anybody thinking about this when they invented these things, the big needles and the drills and all that? But I appreciate that you guys are thinking about it. So, as I said, Liz and I go to a lot of events where we're thankful for and appreciative of and raising money for good things that the organization does for people. I always think it's never better than to hear from those people themselves. So without much flourish, because one of my jobs tonight is to keep us on time, and I'm already failing at that, I would like to introduce, I'd like to have come up to the stage Anusha Somani from Pakistan, Mohamed Ghanem from Egypt, Adolf Unoarumhi from Nigeria, whom we just heard about, Freddy Mutanguha from Rwanda, and Alexis Cohen from New York. Sit wherever you want, and I will start with you. All right. And then we'll all just be sharing mics. I think the goal here is just briefly to sort of give this audience, supporters of MCW, a sense of how its work has had an impact on where you are, so that they sort of understand, look, we're here, it's New York, it's busy, what's the real value to these things? I think they trust the organization, and many of us will know somebody in this organization that has brought us in. But in the end, this happened to me several years ago when I went to Rwanda and I saw some of the projects that were going on, and I really clicked. It just clicked because it suddenly became not abstract to me. So your job in very little time is to make MCW not abstract by saying what it did for your life and who you are.
I will try to do that. My name is Alexis Cohen.
The main goal of you saying your name is so that I can say it back better than I just did.
There you go. So my first involvement with MCW was in 2014 with the oral health program in Tanzania. And just where I was on my own trajectory at that point, I was in the middle of my pediatric dental residency program. So I had already completed dental school, and I had completed a master's program in global public health. So I knew what my interests were, but in the grand scheme of things, I didn't know how those were going to fall into place in a career in the future. But I was invited to go to Tanzania with a few other dentists, and I think the intention at that point was to treat patients in the clinic that MCW was supporting at that time. And 2014, I believe, was a pretty pivotal year for the oral health programs in general. It was, if not the first time, one of the first times that dental therapy students joined us there. So there was about 8 or so dental therapy students that came with one of their faculty, and the idea as well was for them to be, seeing patients, assisting, getting more experience while we were there. And it really became a teaching and a learning experience for everyone involved, because we got to know the students, we got to know what their curriculum was, and we realized there was a lot of potential and a lot more potential for community outreach and community involvement rather than just treating the patients that were walking into the clinic at that point. So we tried to capitalize that, and instead of just seeing patients in the clinic for the 2 weeks we were there, we took one of the weeks and we contacted local elementary schools. We realized the dental therapy students didn't have a lot of experience with pediatrics and with community outreach. So we worked with them in the schools and taught them how to deliver community-based, school-based oral health education, how to deliver fluoride varnish to like a whole school at one time, how to do assessments in a school so that the kids who really needed treatment could be the ones referred back to the clinic. And it was really amazing to watch them over the course of that week really take ownership of it and be comfortable in front of the classroom. And going forward, I think it's really changed how the oral health programs are run. And so for me personally, it was a really wonderful experience to be a part of that and collaborative as a team, working on the ground and putting those skills that I had learned, in school and some other work, but in real life. And I think it just really solidified what I wanted to do as a career. So going forward, I came back and I finished my residency, and now instead of working in a private practice full-time, which is the most traditional route for a dentist, I actually work at NYU full-time teaching dental students in the pediatric department, and also traveling around the world with the NYU Global Outreach Programs and working closely with them, employing the same principles we really did at that time in Tanzania.
So the benefit you got, we're now all getting the benefit of because you've decided that's an important part of your life, to continue doing that work in outreach.
Yes.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Freddy Mutanguha. I'm chair of the MC.
You say that so much more easily than I do.
Yeah, Mutanguha, yes.
He says it like it's one syllable. That's amazing. All right, Freddy Mutanguha.
Mutanguha, yes.
All right, I got it.
Yeah, I'm the MCR chair of the board and MC-Rwanda. What the impact actually, being involved in MCW journey to had in my life actually is my involvement and my experience in this journey actually have been a life-changing experience. This because I want so many things happened and so many learning I had, but I want to share only two. Because of time, I know Ali is going to say, stop, I talk too much, I know. But two things I learned in this journey is that when you do a job and a good job like MCW, the good thing you need to do is to make the right choice. That's one thing. The second thing is to do and to be guided by your heart. By your care and the compassion are really the core values that I learned from this organization. And I'll explain myself. In Rwanda, most of the organizations, they're based in Kigali, the capital of Rwanda. Why they based there? Because the life is easy. But what I realized and what I liked for MCR is that they choose, and this right choice, to be based within the community in Bugesera region, not in Kigali. So that was really something that struck me, that say that this is really the right organization for the right people and the right for the community and my community in Rwanda. And this is the choose of Bugesera has a meaning. It has really a huge meaning because this is a place, a region that have been discriminated for many years. In 1959, the Tutsi have been deported to that area because it was really harsh conditions. And most of them been killed by the tsetse flies and by sleeping disease. And then in 1994, most of them have been exterminated because this was the plan. Understandably, this is a place where there's so many orphans because this is actually, we had so many Tutsis who would be living in that place. And then when the time of genocide, we had a higher number of orphans in that area. But it's an area where a huge vulnerability because of these orphans. They are traumatized. They don't have a hope. They are hopeless people, but also the area itself is not really a good area to live because, like recently, they had a drought, and then we have like a hunger migration, but also it's an area where 48% of the total population, they live under poverty line. So which is really very harsh condition. It was really a right choice for MCR to serve these people. The other thing I want to mention, this area, it's an area that has the most opportunities, I mean the development opportunities in the country than any other place in the country as well, because it's a place where we have 9 lakes, and it's more flat. In Rwanda, we have, the country is hilly, and to find a flat place in other places, it's not possible. But in that area, it's a flat place, which is fantastic. And it's a good opportunity for agriculture as well. You can have mechanized agriculture, and with the lakes, you can have agriculture, irrigations, but also with, it's a place where in next year we'll be having the biggest airport in sub-Saharan as well. So it's a huge opportunities. So when I'm talking about the right choice of the organization, having those young people who really seeking for the skills development and in terms of improving the economic development, it's really the right choice that this organization have made. But also, the organization have been led by the heart, because this is about care, this is about compassion that this organization have had to get these people served. So, so in activities that we're doing in MCR in Rwanda, the choice also, the activities is very important. Because these are people who sometime, and they lost actually time to go to school. The vocation education is very important for them, because by having tailoring and also having ICT, it's very important, because even the government itself is really leading that area to make the country as a hub of technology. That really will give more job to young people, and that will be very, very helpful. And what we're doing in Rwanda,
Freddie, your
it's a
comments
line
are almost
exactly.
as long as your last name.
Just one thing. Just one thing I want to mention. What we're doing in Rwanda, I want to actually. What we're doing in Rwanda is it aligns with the district itself development plan. Why we align with them? Because we are with them. Because we identify the needs together. Because we because we understand what the community needs. So being in the community is very important, and that's what I've seen is very important to have impacted my life as well.
Freddie, thank you for that. Mutanguha, right? Mutanguha. All right, I was just trying too hard. You know, I've been to your country, and it's just a tremendously beautiful place. It's hard to reconcile what terrible things happen in a place that's like just so amazing and beautiful, but it was great to see, and great to see what MCR's work was there. And I'm also a huge fan of Tanzania, where you were. I'm going on Thursday, actually, so that'll be fun. I have not been to Nigeria. Adolf, Unoarumhi?
Very close.
Say it.
Unoarumhi.
Unoarumhi, all right.
There you go.
Now, I've not been to Nigeria. I will go soon, but my wife and I spend our weekends in Philadelphia, which is where you're living these days, right?
That is correct.
Tell us about you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Adolf Unoarumhi, and from Nigeria, as Ali just mentioned. I got involved with MCW attending a Henry Schein event. So I'm with Ernst & Young, EY. We were doing some work for Henry Schein, and I attended an event where I was talking about my background and expressing an interest in just, looking for opportunities to give back. And sitting next to Howard Stapler, and he had his recruiting hat on. And Howard said to me, Adolf, it's funny because I really think it's a great organization that you can get involved with. And that's how we got started, how he introduced me to JC and Khalid. I went into New York, had a conversation with them, and got involved with MCW. As part of that process, I got involved and now serving as a mentor. So Mohamed, who you're going to meet very shortly, I'm serving as a professional mentor to Mohamed. But let me tell you a little bit about myself, just to provide some context as to why MCW means a lot to me and why I'm actually going ahead and spending time providing mentorship. So originally born and raised in Nigeria, I came to the US, so I immigrated to the US at 17 to attend Drexel University in Philadelphia. And at the time, as a young African kid coming here to the US, there was a lot to learn in terms of just navigating and assimilating to the culture. I'm very fortunate to have had mentors, amazing mentors, who were able to guide me through my college career and also my professional career. And with that in mind, I'm very fortunate in the role that I am today at EY to be in a position to help, and I see it as paying it forward and giving back by mentoring and providing the guidance that Mohamed needs to help with this organization. So in my role as a professional mentor at MCW, I'm constantly in contact with Mohamed. This is the first time we've actually met in person. I haven't made a chance to go to Egypt yet, but we have these calls, usually on a monthly basis, where we connect. And very early in our conversation, I think it was in our first conversation, Mohamed expressed to me, described his business goals and some of the challenges he had with expanding his company and his organization in Egypt. And it immediately resonated with me for a couple of reasons. One, I'm originally from Africa, and I understand some of the challenges of doing business there. But two, it tapped into the entrepreneurial spirit that I have, and I immediately was able to connect and see how my background, African background, in addition to that, my professional experience, could lend itself to helping Mohamed realize and achieve his vision. So with that, we've kept a cadence, kind of a monthly cadence where he tells me how he's doing, I provide feedback. Additionally, in addition to that, I tap into my professional network in other areas, things like marketing and brand management, where I ask friends to kind of help him. So one of the things recently did was ask a friend of mine to kind of help with his website, LinkedIn, and Facebook to look at his online presence and social media presence to see how he can be more effective in the local market. So for me, I'm very grateful for the mentors that I've had because it's allowed me to really progress in my career. And when I think back to where I came from and how I got to where I am today, MCW to me provides an opportunity for me to give back in the form of mentorship, and I find that to be personally very fulfilling. So that's my story, and that's why I'm connected with MCW.
Thank you, sir. And Mohamed, you got a bit of an intro already.
So my name is Mohamed Ghanem. I'm from Egypt. And my first involvement with MCW, it was in 2017 when I came here as a mentee. Then in 2018, I asked MCW to hold the conference, the regional conference in Egypt. So we are like going back and forth with the emails, like is it safe, is it not, like how we will do it and so on. And after that, we do the conference in Egypt, like it was for Egyptian and also for other participants from African countries. And then in 2018, I was back as a mentor, and also this year, I also a recipient of the EVF, like the Alumni Venture Funds. And this is how I get with MCW. And if I have like a highlight because of the time, the first thing is when I came as a mentee in 2017, I was here in US. I was studying in summer school in California, and I have like a very tough time with like some accident in the airport due to my name, because I have like similarity and so on. And when I came to MCW, I feel that kind of trust, and I feel this kind of very accepting diversity and tolerance. And the story that we shared, this in this context, people don't ask you about what is your background, what's your name, where are you come from, but they ask you a question that invites stories, that invites who you are really, I am, and how you evolve, how you reach this stage. And I feel this trust, and this trust is not only from the first of the journey, but also from like for the whole journey, for the long journey. And I not exaggerate if I said that it's like unconditional trust. Like people really build trust based on history, based on CV, based on like the courses that you take, something like that. But here it's like building trust from the beginning. It's like unconditional. You have our trust, and when you have this trust, when you have this people believing in you and believing in your potentials, then you do something that you not even ever expected that you will do. I didn't even dream of being here in the Gala when I see when I first entered to the MCW. I didn't even think that one day I can receive the fund, or my idea it could be like this very good and fit for the fund. I didn't even think that I can even have a conference, an international conference with an international participant in Egypt, holding all the logistics from A to Z, see all logistics and the visas and so on. So for me, this is like when I go through and look back at how this happened, I feel that it's like kind of trust that I gained from the first time. Also, another highlight, if I have another minute, is also the process itself. The program is not only like the program that you can get to another country, see people and have friends, and that's it. It's like a long program, and also the process before the program, how to apply to the program, is like mind blowing. It's changing your perspective, how to do social work. So you are not only like submit application, then you go for assessment need, and then you go for the interview. So this whole journey is not only about to get in, but the journey itself is like, it's a learning experience, a learning opportunity. So I think this year, many people applied from Egypt to the program, and not many of them have got it because of the limited spots that we have. And I hope by we are doing here, with the Gala and so on, we can expand these spots. And some people of them, when they go through this application process, they ask me about if I can mentor them, not through the program, but through the application, and they already starting their project and do activities. And this is the thing that I love about the structure and how the program went. So this is my my highlights. Also the EVF. It's very good opportunity to have this fund, and you start working on it, and you have a professional mentor who is already coming from the same background, so he understands the challenges. So if I go to another mentor and see that I have a problem with the governmental restrictions, so no one understand what kind of governmental restriction. We have a problem with the legal framework. We didn't have something called social enterprises. So it's either non-profit or either for-profit company. So this kind of questions and challenging, that being understandable, and also have the one who gave you, it's not only the money, but the money and the mentorship, and how the people go through all of this, checking on you and see how it goes, and also recognize what you are doing. This is the essence, and this is how this impact me.
Thank you. I have to say, I don't know that you intended that this is one of the things that we would take away from it, but the idea that Mohamed is talking about being a student from somewhere else who feels welcomed and encouraged in America was very interesting to me. I think in today's day and age, that alone is value. Anusha.
Yeah, hi. So I'm Anusha. I got associated with MCW back in 2017. In fact, we both were mentees in the same year. And then the next year, I emailed Regina, and I said that, hey, is there any possibility that I can intern with MCW in Africa? And it was a long shot. It was I don't know if this has ever happened before, that a mentee has gotten the opportunity to go and be an intern in one of the countries. My mentor at that time, Henny, I would like to mention her. She played a huge role in motivating me and telling me hey, you should go for it. It was, as I said earlier, it was a long shot, and again, as Mohamed mentioned, it was back and forth emails, seeing if it would work out, and it did. To my surprise, it did, and I interned last year. I spent 3 months in Tanzania, so Tanzania, there it is again. And I've worked on ground with in Arusha, which was one of the community centers there, and then I worked with the country director on strategic plan of MCT. And right today, this year, we're back as a mentor. So yeah, that's been my journey with MCW. But if I have to conclude, if I have to talk about what I've learned from this whole journey, is I'm going to talk about 2 points. Number one, which Mohamed has also beautifully mentioned, is about the trust, is about the unwavering belief system that MCW as an organization has. I have been associated with a lot of organizations in these past years as a trainer, facilitator, and MCW is by far one of the few organizations that trust people so much. It's amazing to see that, you know, even they don't know if this would work out, but they are there by your side, and they want to make sure that you are okay and that it will work out. So it was this trust that I applied so when I was applying for a mentee, so the problem that I wanted to work on, the solution that I wanted to get was to work on the communication gap between students, teachers, and parents. And it was long shot, and I was like, I don't know if this would work out as a project, but I had ideas, I had already worked as a facilitator in the system, and MCW gave me that opportunity to work on it. It was then 2 years back that I started to work on it, that it changed a lot of course. It changed its course a lot of times, and it was then that it led to mental health. It led to the founding of Shoulder Pad. It also led to me participating of being, being part of the project that is currently working on teenage suicide prevention in Pakistan. It's a nationwide program to prevent teens from suiciding because of depression, because of anxiety, and because of academic pressure. So that, I think that wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for MCW. Secondly, and last point, is that it has taught me how to be flexible. There are times that as a person, as a leader, you're like, I have plans, and this is how it's going to work out. You have plan A, you have plan B, you have plan C, you're sorted. But then there are times when it may not work out. Those plans may not work out, and this is what I've learned in my internship last year, that there may be times that it would demand you to come out of your comfort zone. It would demand you to to get solutions. And if I have to summarize it in my last line, it would be like, even when it seems that you do not have options available, MCW has taught me that there may still be a solution. You just need to have an eye to see it and a heart to believe it. So yes.
It's amazing. Freddy said that one of the things about MCW is making choices, making good choices. And I think this is a demonstration of some of the good choices that MCW has made. And Mohamed, your view that you had a number of Egyptian students who wanted to participate and there aren't enough slots, well, for those of you tonight, as you make your contributions, now you understand what happens. If there are more slots, more people like this will do more of the things that they're doing. Congratulations and thank you to all of you for doing that. My appreciation to you.